Hey guys, welcome back to our channel and The Woman King. Today we are talking about this movie, The Woman King. The Woman King is a 2022 American historical action adventure film about the Agoizi, the all-female warrior regiment that protected the West African kingdom of Dahomey during the 17th to 19th centuries. Set in the 1820s, the film stars Viola Davis as a general who trains the next generations of female warriors to fight their enemies. It is directed by Gina Prince by the Wood and written by Dana Stevens based on a story she wrote with Maria Bello. The film also stars Thuso, Mbedu, Lashana, Lynch, Sheila Atim, Hero Finance Stephen, and John Boyega. Uh, Bello conceived the idea for the Woman King in 2015 after visiting Benin, where the kingdom used to be located, and learning the history of Egoiziai. She recreated Kathy Schulman to develop it into a feature film and pitching into several studios who turned it down due to financial concerns after they met with TriStar Picture in 2017. The film was greenlit in 2020. Productions began in South Africa in November 2021. Shut down due to COVID-19 Omicron variant a few weeks later and resumed in early 2022. Polly Morgan was the cinematographer during post production. The musical score was composed by Terence Blanchard the and editing was completed by Terry Lyne. Shropshire The Woman King had its world premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival on September 9 to 2022, and Sony Pictures released the film in theater in the United States on September 16, 2022. Following the festival screening, the film received generally positive reviews for critics, with praise directed toward Davis' performances and action choreography. However, it received criticism for historical distortions of slavery, and it was named one of the top 10 films of 2022 and by the American Film Institute and the National Board of Reviews at the 28th Critics' Choice Awards. The film received nominations for best costume design, best acting ensembles, best director, and best actress for Davis. Furthermore, Davis also earned Best Actress nominations at the Golden Globes, Screen Actors Guild, BAFTA Films Award, and NASPA Emmys Awards. It was the last film to be distributed by Entertainment. And just wait, now I am talking to you, and you can see the Women Kings. Here you can see the Women Kings poster, theatrical release poster, and directed by Gina Prince by the Wood. Screenplay by Dana Stevens, story by Maria Bello and Dana Stevens, produced by Kathy Schulman, Viola Davis, Julius Tennant, Maria Bello, and starring Viola Davis, Thuso, Mbedu, Lashana, Lyons, and Saila a team. Hero Finance, Stephen John Boyega, Polly Morgan, Terryline Shropshire. Music by Terence Blanchard. Productions TriStar Pictures, Entertainment One, and Juvi Productions Valley Entertainment. Distributed by Sony Pictures. Release date September 9 to 2022, September 16 to 2022, United States. Running time 135 minutes. 2 hour and 15 minutes more. Country United States. Language English, and budget $50 million and box office $97.6 million. It is good, very good, and the opening sequence, Liberation Missions. The film opens with an elite group of all female warriors, and the Agozai stalking through tall grass, tall grass at dawn, and led by General Naniska. They silently emerge and brutally attack a camp of Mai captures, holding Dwemer. Women who are to be sold into slavery, and Agozi overwhelm the camp and slaying the men and freeing the captives, and this stabilizes both the threat from rival group and the warrior proves of Naniska and her troops. Returns to Dahomey and political setup. Back in the kingdom of Dahomey, and the victorious Agoizi return to cheering crowds, and though civilians are traditionally forbidden from approaching them, and meanwhile Dahomey's young king Geizu John Boyega seeks to strengthen the kingdom. but remains reluctant to fully break from the dominant Oyo Empire. Introductions of Navi and training begins. We meet Navi, a rebellious teenager who refuses to marry suitors who would beat her. Frustrated, her father offers Navi to King Gezo before she reaches the king. Veteran soldier Aizogi interrupts and bring Navi to Naniska's attentions, seeing potentials in her strength and spirit. Naniska accepts Navi into training with the Agozi, and it was last film to be distributed by Entertainment One in Canada before the distributor's Canadian division was shut down on June 29, 2022, along with its Spanish distribution shortly before its release. Shortly before its release, and so now just let's start some more. Now just I am the film when shifts into rigorous warrior training where recruits endure intense physical tests, including running through thorn bushes and mastering weapon skills. Bonds develop between the recruits and seasoned figures. These scenes underline Agoizi culture, discipline, sacrifice, sisterhood, and refusal to let men dictate their fate, and potential tension. Political tensions and slave trade threats. Portuguese slave traders led by Santo Ferreira and arrive in alliance with the Oyo Empire, trading European weapons for captives. A Habdomian trader named Malik accompanies them and later befriends Navi during a moment by the water. It's clear the slave trade looms as a larger threat to the human, and shortly after Navi graduates and it officially inducted inducted as an agorisy marked by a symbolic blood oath ceremony binding all warriors equally. She defines expectations and she leaves the camp to speak with Malik and learn the Oyo are planning a major assault and reports this to Naniska, but Naniska admonishes her recklessness. So now let's start plot of this movie. In the West African kingdom of Dahomey in 1823, General Naniska, leader of the all-female regiment of the warriors, the Agozai liberates Dioman women who were abducted by slavers from the Oyo Empire, and this provokes King Gezo of Dahomey to prepare for all-out war with Oyo, and Naniska begins to train a new generations of warriors to join the Agozi to protect the kingdom. And among these warrior is Navi, a strong willed girl who was offered by her father to the king when she refused to marry men who would beat her. Navi befriends Aizoji, a veteran Agoji. She also revealed to Naniska that she is adopted and shows a scar on her left shoulder, shocking her. Portuguese slaves traders led by Shanto Ferreira and accompanied by the half-Deoman Malik arrives as part of an alliance with the Oyo led by General Obaid, and Navi encounters Malik while the latter is bathing, and the two becomes friends. Shortly after graduating from training to become a full-fledged Agozi, and Navi sneaks up to speak with Malik and learns that the Oyo are planning to attack. She reports this to Naniska, who tells her of her to recklessness, and amidst a heated argument between the two, Naniska revealed that is in her youth she was captured by Oba and raped and impregnated. After giving birth to a daughter, Naniska embedded a shark tooth in her left shoulder before giving her away, and Naniska helps Navi extract the tooth, confirming that she is her biological daughter. And Naniska leads the Aguizi in an attack on the Oyo, and the attack is successful. But Oba escapes and Navi fumble and Aizoji are captured. With Navi's advice, Fambe escapes and reports the other fate to Naniska, and Janzo prepares to bestow the title of Woman King and his partner and equals in ruling Dahomey upon Naniska but refuses to authorize and rescue mission for the captive Agoizi. Meanwhile, Azoji is killed in an escape attempt and Malik buys Navi to protect her. Naniska defies his orders and sets out with a group of like-minded warriors to rescue the captives. The chaos allows Navi to escape and find Naniska. Malik frees several others, saves who drawn a Ferreria, and Naniska kills Oba in a single combat. And shortly after Navi graduates and it's officially included as a Goji marked by a symbolic blood oath ceremony binding all warriors equally and she defies expectations. She leaves the camp to speak with Maliks and learns the Oyo are planning a major assault and she reports this is the Naniska, but Naniska admonishes her recklessness. Naniska's secret and emotional reveal. And after a heated argument, Naniska reveals her secret past and she was previously captured by the Oyo general Oba Ade, raped and gave birth to a daughter she believed was lost. To identify her someday, she embedded a shark tooth under her child's left shoulder, and Naniska and Navi later compare scars, and Naniska helps extract the tooth, confirming that Navi is her biological daughter, and this becomes the emotional core of the story. And the triumphant Georgia returns to Dahomey where Gezo privately and verify admonishes Naniska for disobeying him and before crowning her the woman king after the festivities. Naniska and Navi privately acknowledges their familial relationships. And Oyobar and capture. Naniska leads the Agozi in a preemptive attack against the Oyo and they create clever war tactics including exploding termite mounds and rigged with gunpowder. The traditional title of Woman King positions of equal political authority, but refuses to authorize risky rescue missions for the captured warriors, and Aniska publicly receives honor but privately struggles with her conscience, escape attempts, and loss. Izoji is killed during an escape attempt. Malik buys Navi from other slaves and ostensibly to protect her, and later helps her escape, and Navi rejoins Naniska, offering her strength back to the Agoji. Now let's read the cast of this movie. Viola Davis as General Naniska, Wanda Banda as young Naniska. Thuso Mbedu as Navi, and Lashana Lynch as Izozi. Sila Atim as Amenza, and Lethabo as young Amenza. Hero Finance Stephen as Centro Ferreira. John Boyega as King Gizos, respectively Gizo. Jordan Poger as Malik, and Jimmy Odukoya as General Obaid, and Joel Mukadi as young Oba, and Musali Beduza as Fambe. Jamie Lawson as Sante, and Adrienne Warren as Ode, and Saina West as ESI, and Sioma Amiela as Tara. CM Thanda Makekene as Sindra, and Shiv Nagesi as the Maigan. Angelicola Kirizo as the Munion, and Josebini Tunzi as Fa. McGotso as Inia, and Thando Delomo as Keto, and Julian Tannen as Moro. Final Assault and Climatic battles. Naniska defies the king's order and assembling a loyal band of her Azosias to infiltrate Oyo territory and free the captives amid silent nights, assaults, and freed slaves turn. Naniska personally confronts and kills Oba in hand-to-hand combat, symbolizing both revenge and liberation. Malik frees many slaves at the port and causing chaos and enabling the Agoizi to succeed. Navi's courage in battle is instrumental in the story. Let's start the productions. Productions development. The Woman King was produced by Maria Bello and Kathy Kathy Schoolman, written by Dana Stevens and contributions by Gina Prince Bollywood. It's a co-production between TriStar and Entertainment One. In 2015, Bello went to the West Africa nation of begin to learn the history history of the Azozi and convinced she had found a story worth telling, and she returned to Los Angeles and recruited then had two organizations women in film to help her make the film, and on September 19, 2015, Bello used to moment when she was a presenting actress and Schulman first tried to set up the first Tenwell, where she was the head of the productions, but the studio was only willing to offer an unsatisfactory $5 million. After leaving STX in 2016, Subramanian worked with Belur Davies and Julius Tannen. Davies' husband and producing partner at UV Productions to take the idea elsewhere, and studios who turned it down accepted unlikely chance for the film to turn a profit, and others, according to Davies, wanted to cast light-skinned, well-known actresses, which they refused to do for the historical accuracy and the audience's sake. Prince Boy the Wood, and also in 2016 was approached to write the screenplay but could not, and where I was, and could not commit due to a scheduling conflict with Silver and Black in 2017. Without a script or director, the producers meet with TriStars, then chef Anaha Mingela, and then Senior Vice President Nicole Brown. Within 2 years, Brown had taken over Mengele's Mangala's position and made the Woman King one of the TriStar's top priorities. And in early 2018, the commercial the commercial success of the superhero movie Black Panther, which featured a fictionalized version of the Agoizi, further motivated the crew to move forward with the project in March 2018. Davis and Davis, where is Davis and Luzo? Davis and Lupita Nyong'o were announced to star Manos. Uh, Nayo's or role was ultimately played by Thuso Mbedu. Lupita dropped out after learning about Diomi's legacy of violence, and Prince Bida would read the screenplay once it was completed and came on board to direct. And in 2020, The Woman King was greenlit with a $50 million budget, and and Prince Withewood referenced epic films like The Last of the Mohicans 1992, Braveheart, and Gladiator 2000. And her background in sports gave her a perspective on the realism of fight scenes, and in crafting the story she sought for the woman to be multifaceted in both their fighting ability and their emotional reactions. She worked with productions designers and Akin Mackenzie to learn about the Agozi. Their rituals included books out of print text and photographs, and writing by Princeton professor Leonard Vansken. And the biggest eye opener, she said, was how much misinformation there is about these women and this culture and this culture and where I was. So just wait. Given that so much of their history was written from the colonial's point of view, and so it was really about separating the texts and that were from that point of view which were so disparaging and disrespectful from the truth. For 4 months before the shoot, the cast performed 90 minutes a day of weight lifting. The trainer Garbazia McCallum and followed by 3.5 hours of fight training with stunt coordinator Danny Hernandez, which included running martial arts and working with swords and spears. Davis was inspired by pro boxers and and just wait, I'm just and return to the Dehome and resolutions. The Agozi returns triumphant. Agezo Verify admonishes Naniska for disobeying him, but then crowns her officially as the Woman King. Uh, Recognizing her leadership and vision, Naniska and Navi quietly acknowledges their bond as mother and daughter. Epilogue. A reflective mid-credit scene shows one of the warriors honoring their fallen sisters, underscoring sacrifices and the cost of freedom and the enduring legacy of the Agozi. Legacy of the Agozi. And the highlighted in the film sisterhood and solidarity among women warriors forming the emotional backbone of the film, and maternal love and identity through Naniska and Navi's relationships, resistance against operations and moral conflict over the slave trade. Over the slave trade. So, filming in November. In November 2021, the cast and crew flew to South Africa for a 5 month shoot. Uh, Prince Weatherwood Prince Bythewood prioritized department heads who were women and people of color, and including cinematographer, Polly Morgan, a production designer, Akim Mackenzie, a costume designer, Gracia Phillips, hairstylist, Liuza Anthony, and visual effects supervisor Sarah Bennett, and editor Trelane Shropshire. Makeup was handled by a local South African artist Babalwa, MTC Selva, the thing for the women and people of color. Prince by the woodshed. Often the resumes are for a sequence in which a character is remembering a sexual assault. Prince by the wood referenced Christine Blasey Ford's testimony at Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court nominations hearing, and asked the actress to read the Roxane Gay book Hunger, a memoir about Gay's rape and filming for the first 2 weeks took place in the coastal province of KwaZulu-Natal for the shooting of jungle scenes. They then moved to the coastal city of Cape Town, where the majority of filming would take place. In their third week in South Africa, the COVID-19 Omicron variant hit the production, and Davies and Tennant were among the infected. Production shut down for a few weeks and resumed in mid-January 2022. This production halt forced them to rehearse battle sequences with hundreds of performers. Prince Bythewood calls it the hardest shoot of her career. And going full deep dive mode now, below is an expanded, ultra detailed scene by scene breakdown of the Woman King 2022, written almost like a movie novelizations, covering every major scene, emotional beat, and tactical movement in strict story order. Full spoilers ahead. And the Woman King 2022 complete scene by scene breakdown, and the Warrior of Deomi. Night Raid. Uh, the Azoizi strike in total darkness. Silhouettes move through test grass. Azoizi warriors advanced silently. Bare feet, controlled breathing. Naniska signals the attack. In second, Chow's erupts, throats slit blades, flashing capsules killed Deoman's woman. And so Deoman's women are freed from iron chains. And one captive is nearly taken, but Naniska personally saves her. This scene stabilizes, and the Aguzis' brutality as on discipline and Naniska's authority, the slave trade's threat. And return to Abome, the Azazi march in the capital, and civilians kneel and avert their eyes. Agazi are scared. Agazi are scared. King Genzo watches from the place. Naniska reports the raid's success but warns the Oyo are growing stronger, and Genzo hesitates. He fears open war since Nawi is defiant. In a village, Navi refuses marriage to a violent shooter, and the man beats her publicly. Her father, energy and ashamed, decides to give her to the king. Navi does not beg, she glares. The post productions. See also the Woman King soundtrack editing was completed by Terry Line Sofseri, who worked on Prince by the Woods, The Old Guard 2020, and the film's musical score was composed by Terence Blanchard, who worked with Prince by the Wood and the first film Love and Basket 2000, and the television shows Shots Fired and Swagger. For the score, Balancers and enlisted the nine voice Vox Noiri and ensemble who worked with his opera files and set up in My Bones with jazz singers and Danny Reeves as his soloist. They recorded for 5 days with the 78 member Royal Scottish National Orchestra in Glasgow, Scotland. Additional, let's see what is this. Additional recordings occurred in New York with Vox, Nairi, and Colorado with Reeves, Ghanaian American mezzo soprano Taisia Quarting led the choir, and three numbers by South African composer Lebo and chants and dances were also performed in the film. The song in the end credits and Keep Rising was an original piece written by Jesse Wilson's Jeremy Lutito and Angelique Kidzo and performed by Kidzo for Warner and Chappell's Music in late 2020 and later sold to Sony. The sounder track album was released on September 16, 2022 by Milan Records. Okay, here is, and you can see the film score composer Terence Blanchard in 2014, and on the road to Abome Izozi sports Navi, the senses fire in her spirit. Izozi intervenes, telling the father, and this one belongs with us. Navi is taken to Naniska. Meeting Naniska, Naniska examines Navi closely and she tests her courage. Navi does not flinches and Naniska accepts her into a going joy training against traditions and becoming a Judicize. Training begins. Recruits endure brutal drills and sprinting barefoot over spikes and climbing. Weapon mastery. Failure is punished with pain, and sisterhood begins forming. Scene 7 is Aizoji and Navi bond. Aizoji mentors Navi, and she teaches her how to fight dirty and how to survive mentally. And Aizoji jokes, laughs, fights hard, and she becomes the heart of the group. First kill trial. Recruits must kill a captive criminal. Navi hesitates. Navi hesitates. And Naniska watches expressions unreadable. Navi finally strikes. Blood splashes her face, and she does not cry, but something inside her changes. C9 is political pressures. Portuguese traders arrive. Ferreira negotiates weapons for slaves and Oyo generals loom behind him. And Malik Habdiomin watches silently and Jesu listens but grows conflicted. Ancient the river encounters. A river encounters. Navi meets Malik secretly. They talk about identity, freedom. Malik warns her, and Oyo is preparing a large assault. And Navi breaks a protocol to report this. And Naniska's anger. Naniska punishes Navi harshly, and later alone Naniska breaks. She removes her armor. She tells her story, captured by Oyo and raped by Obaid. Gave birth in captivity, she touched her child dead. Release. Let's listen. Release. Let's talk about release. The film premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival on September 9, 2022. It was released in theater on September 16, 2022 by Sony Pictures, releasing Sony handled distributions worldwide except in Canada and the United Kingdom, and where distributions was held by Entertainment One. The film was released for Vogue on November 22, 2022, and followed by a Blu-ray, a DVD, and 4K UHD release by Sony Pictures Home Entertainment, and on December 13, 2022 in the United States. In the United Kingdom, it was released on DVD and Blu-ray by Entertainment One and Universal Pictures Home Entertainment. Home Entertainment on February 13, 2023. Netflix in the United States received The Woman King 153 days after its theatrical release on February 2023 as part of a first window deal with Sony Pictures and a second window deal with Disney. It was the first film to be distributed by Entertainment One in Canada before the distributor's Canadian division was shut down on June 29, 2022, and along with its Spanish distribution shortly before the film's release. Reception. Now let's talk about reception. The Woman King grossed $67.3 million in the United States and Canada, and $27.1 million in other territories for a worldwide total of $94.4 million. In the United States and Canada, The Woman King was projected to gross around 12 million in its opening weekend, with some studios estimating it could reach as much as $16 million, and the films made $6.8 million on its first day, including 1.7 million from Thursday. Right, previous it's went on to overperform and debut at 19.5 $19.05 million from 3,765 theaters, topping the box office. Of the opening weekend audiences, 60% were female, 58 were over the age of 35, were African Americans, and in its second weekend, the film made $11.1 million, a drop of 42%, finishing behind a newcomer, Don't Worry and Darling, in its third weekend, and the film made $6.8 million, finishing third. And so the critical response. The Woman King received positive reviews from the critics from the cast performances, including Viola Davis's starring role and Thuso Mbedu's breakout performances and its action choreography, while some minor disappointment was expressed with the script and on the review aggregator website. Rotten Tomatoes, 94% of the 276 critics reviews are positive, with an average rating of 7.8 out of 10, and the website's consensus reads All Hail Viola. Davis, The Woman King rules on Metacritic. The film has a weighted average score of 76 out of 100, and based on 35 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews, and audiences polled by Cinema Score gave the film a rare average grade of A plus. Of an A plus to F scale, while those at post-track give the film a 95% overall positive score. And Lovia Gaerke of The Hollywood Reporter wrote a crowd-pleasing epic think Braveheart with Scale Woman and Braveheart with Black Woman. Robert Daniels at RogerEbert.com said Work is said when the woman king work, it's majestic and the magnitude and the awe this movie inspire are what epics like Gladiator and Braveheart are all about. Kate R. Blend of India Wire said all of her time at the movies and she mightly nice a topic with the great appeal of sort of battle heavy features that will likely engender plenty of hoods and hollers and the Chris Evangelist still said it was an absolutely blast and it is a film that is not afraid to cheering and critic Kyan James wrote it's a splashly popcorn movie with a social conscience. So now just I'm going to explain you some more things from this and the darkness, heavy breathing, tall grass, the Azores crawl silently towards a slave camp, and Naniska signals the attack. Explosive, brutal hand-to-hand combat. Men are killed swiftly, women's captives are freed, and the young girl stares in awe in Naniska myth being born. And the purpose stabilizes Agozi as feared legends and introduces the slave trade threat. A victory march in Dehomoi. The Agozi returns home. Citizens bow and avert their eyes. These women are sacred and untouchable. Dreams, celebrations, fear, reverences, purpose. So, social power of the Azozio and their near mythical status. Scene 3 King Zanjo, a political pressure. King Zanjo meets advisors. Oyo Empire demands tribute. Slaves. Zanjo hesitates. Deume profits from palm oil, now not slaves. War is looming. Purpose sets political conflict and moral tension. And the Navy refuses marriage and the Navy is strong-willed. A teenage girl refuses an abusive suitor and she physically fights back and her father is humiliated and he decides to give her to the king instead. Purpose introduces Navi's defiance and strength. Navi meets the Aguzis Nawi is brought before King Zenzo and Aizuzi notices Navi's fearless postures and Aizuzi interrupts ceremony and pulls Navis aside, and Naniska tests Navi's spirit, and Navi is accepted into Azoi's training and purpose. The hero's call to destiny. And the scene 6 is Azuzi's training begins. Brutal physical training, thorn runs, endurance tests, combat drills, and recruit feel cry collapses, and Aniska is cold, relentless, Navi refuses to quiet, and purpose. Transformation begins, sisterhood forms, and Act 2 is identity, politics, and betrayal, bonding, and warrior culture. Camp life. Scars, laughters, teasing, Zuzi vow, no man, no children, and Zuzi becomes Navi's mentor. Purpose, emotional grounding, and the Portuguese slaves traders introduced European traders arrive, guns exchanges for humans, Malik mixed race. African Portuguese stands out. Purpose, external threat, personified. Let's talk about Zambi. Broadmax of Black Girl Nuts called Viola Davis's performances career best, and Gyarki sets the Oscar-winning actress known for digging into her character, the physics accesses an impressive level of emotional depth and nuance as Naniska. The Wops Martin Teji wrote Davis truly gets to flex the full range of her acting chops. Performances of this caliber is rare in what's essentially an action flick, and Chris Bombray of Zobulo wrote her raw intensity is backed up by a newly zagged physique that makes her an imposing actions heroine, and she performs exceptionally well in the new media's action scenes. Other cast members who were praised included Lashana Lines, events guest at the film at Ruben Baron at Looper.com called her the film's standout, and its and Thuso Mbedu, who was called a breakout star by several critics. Time Gearsons at Screen International said that she nearly stole the show with an exceptional supporting performances. Exceptional supporting performances. And James said that the representations of history and culture leans towards fantasy in its heroic moments but is rooted in truth about war, brutality, and freedom. Gyarki said that it begins as portraitures and then surrenders to melodrama when faced with the challenges of translating history for the screen and con- constructing a coherent geopolitical threat. Reuben Barron of Lupo.com wrote The Woman King is an 8 out of 10 for entertainment value and 4 out of 10 for how it deals with history. And the aspect of spectacles, critic, critics said they wanted more actions movies like The Woman King, and Airplane said if this is what a Hollywood sized and sized blockbuster look like in 2022, bring it on, bring them all on. Evangelista concluded in his review may one day will be get the point where such a movie doesn't feel ground breaking, but here we are. And Africa report describes the responses from Benin, where the movie is set, as mixed with some Beninese reactions posting out the historical errors and the liberties taken in the representations of the Benin culture. By replacing elements such as song and dance with South African substitutes and the other responding positively to the depictions of Benin historical event in a major Hollywood production. And here is the things where so accolades award, what is the name of award, date of summary, and after that of summary there comes category for recipients for results and the referral. First is Up Movies for Grown-Ups Awards, and the date is January 28, 2023. Category Best Picture for Grown-Ups, and the recipients is The Movement King. Result is nominated. For Best Directors, recipients is Gina Prince by the Wood, and the result is nominated. Best Actress and Viola Davis, and result was nominated. Best Ensemble, the cast of The Woman King and the nominated. Best Screenwriters, Dana Stevens and result is nominated. African African American Film Critics Association's Awards, December 8, 2022, and the top 10 films of the year. The Woman King, and the result is won. Now they won. And the Best Pictures, The Woman King nominated Best Director of Best Woman Director. Gina Prince by the Wood nominated and won. Won in Best Woman Director. Best Actress, Most Daring Performances, Women Film Industry, Viola Davis, and nominated in Best Actress, nominated in Most Daring Performance, but won in Women's Film Industry Achievement. And January, we are talking about alliances of women film journalists. And the Best Women Breakthrough Performances, Thuso Mbedu nominated in Best Original Screenplay nominated, Best Women Screenwriter nominated, and Best Cinematography won by Polly Morgan, and the Best Ending Cerulean Surfre nominated, and American Cinema Editors Award March 5, 2023, and the Best Edited Features. Uh, just wait, just wait, just wait. Just wait, guys. Just wait for a minute. And American Film Institute Award December 9, 2022. Top 10 films of the year, The Woman King won. The Woman King has won this match. And Austin Film Critics Austin Film Critics Association Best Actress, Viola Davis Best Stunt Coordinator, Daniel Hendricks both are nominated. And let's leave here. And Hollywood Music in Media Award November 16, 2022. Best Original Score in a Features Film Terence Balanced won. Go across and controversy. Now let's talk about the controversy. Los Angeles Times reported that online critics complains that the movie seemingly uplifts and women without fully acknowledging that the Dahomey tribe sold other Africans into slavery. Through others defended the film, and the conversation said the film has drawn controversy from many angles before the film release, and online commentators commented on the perceived savagery of the kingdom, and particularly by spotlighting rituals that involved human sacrifices. That narrative of criticism was boldened by the voices of American descendants of slavery, which vehemently called off a boycott of the film by arguing it and glorified a king glorified a kingdom responsible for brutalizing its ancestors, adding to the chorus of disapproval were specialists in the 19th century Dome history who raised flags over inaccuracies in the film's representations of the slave trade. Moreover, a segment of the social media populace advocating for the portrayal of more positive black stories questions that the decisions to focus on their money they suggested being more appropriate and uplifting subjects for cinematic exploration. On social media, the hashtag boycott women king was trending for days, and the Warp noted critics don't have an issue with David playing a strong black leader in the Woman King, but are alarmed that the responded to calls for a boycott of the movie by arguing that most of the story is fictionalized and it has to be, while Tannen stated that we have to entertain people. If people was not learn more, then they can investigate more, and this award does not have a single winner but recognizes multiple films, and the references here you can see the references. Total references is 6, 70, 80, 90, and 99, not 100. Why? Just one line away. Alessandro Antonimi and the boarding tries is fixes the Woman King as a co-financier. Deadline Hollywood and Keegan Rebecca September 6 and Viola Davis and Gina Prince by the wood on the battle to get the woman king made. And the Hollywood Reporter. The Woman King 2000 and 2022 Financial Informations, the numbers, Nest Information Services. The Woman King box office mojo and retrieved March 29, 2023, and The Woman King has an almost 100% approval rating. The Woman King revised movie reviews, Showtime retrieved October 22, 23, and the Campbell Christopher at the Woman King first reviews Viola Davis rules and the screen in a using action packed crowd pleaser Rotten Tomatoes. Retrieved September 10. And Grayson's team, the Woman King, and let's make it. We can read first further reading, and so now let's talk about this. Where are we was? And the Campbell Christopher, September 10 in 2022. The Woman King first reviews Viola Davis rules the screen in a reviewing action-packed crowd pleaser. Rotten retrieved September 10, 2022. Grierson's team, The Woman King Toronto reviews Screen Daily retrieved September 10, September 12, 2022. Ives Patrick March 1 to 2018. The Woman King starring Viola Davis, Lupita Nyong'o leaves to fight at TriStar and Deadline Hollywood archived. From the original on April 9, 2021, retrieved. April 28, 2021. Kroll Justin, Underground Railroads, Thuso, Mbedu. To star opposite Viola Davis in The Woman King, from the original on April 28, 2021, retrieved. Kate Borges, Galupo Mia, Lashana joins Viola Davis in historical epic The Woman King. The Hollywood Reporter archived from the original on September 2, 2021, retrieved September 2. Kit Bore, September 27 to 2021, and Adrienne Warren. Sheila 18 joins Viola Davis in historical drama The Woman King. Exclusive. The Hollywood Reporter archived from the original on September 27, 2021, and retrieved September 27, 2021. Andy Alessandro Anthony, October 7, 2021, The Woman King. Jamie Lawson, Hero Faces, and Tiffin and Mosali Beduza joined TriStar. Viola Davis, an historical epic deadline Hollywood archived from the original on October 7, 2021, retrieved October 7, 2021. And Kid Boris, uh, September 21 to John Boyega joins Viola Davis in historical drama The Woman King exclusive. The Hollywood Reporter archived from the original on September 21, 20. Read right September 20. Accrual just in November 9, 2021 to the TriStar A Woman King starring Viola Davis adds for including Angelique Kidjo. Deadline Hollywood archived from the original on November 9, 2021 to retried and same date. Moody's Cadibon, January 25, 2022. Shiv Nagesi joins cast of The Woman King and Independent online retrieved February 21 to 2022. Ghana Kagomo Constance January 19, 2022 to Josibini Tunji Beggs acting debut on The Woman King and joins Thuso Mbedu. A time slide retried January 19, 2022. Mandy Vanzerai Pedise January 10 to 2022. Iso Digno and Mac cast in The Woman King and New Zimbabwe retrieved February 1, 2022. Davis Kelly Stone September 19 to 2022. Woman King stars Viola Davis and Julius Tannen talks box office victory and defend film against historical critics. We have to take licenses. Verite and Zuck Crystal's Bennett beyond the Woman King. Viola Davis on playing real life warrior General Vanity Fair and retrieved July 5, 2022. Luxembourg Jasmine September 14, 2025 to Emmy Parties 2015 The Ultimate Guide Variety Retrieval and July 5 to 2022 and Washington early September 20, 2025 Emmy Viola Davis discuss Emmy routine paying way of black actresses and the Hollywood Reporter retrieved July 5, 2022 and the California. How the Woman King makes Hollywood history with an incredible true story and Los Angeles Times retrieved September 9, 2022 and 2022 and Abraham Maya Lupita Nyong'o breaks silence about exit from The Woman King and retrieved November 10th, 2022, and just burly game genre. How the Women King show honor the languages, and just wait, and Woman King eyes long haul at fall box office after a hot type premiere with 100% Rotten Tomatoes weekend preview deadline Hollywood and retrieved September 14, 2022. So here is for today's. I hope you loved this and thanks for watching. Bye.